You have heard it for years. Money is the root of all evil. Maybe someone even told you that the last time you were stressed about a bill. Funny thing is, that exact sentence is not anywhere in the Bible. No one ever spoke of it, not Christ, not Paul, not one prophet. And one missing word has haunted good people in silence for generations. Because look what it has done to you. It's made you feel guilty even for wanting to give. That quiet shame when you dream of paying off the debt, or finally buying that house, or giving your kids more than you ever had. And the voice whispers, a true Christian wouldn't want that. But what if that voice has been lying to you all this time? What if the real teaching isn't stay poor, but something so much better? Bear with me, because the actual verse turns this on its head. Here's the verse that everyone gets wrong. 1 Timothy 6:10. And read it slow with me. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Got that? Not the money, love of money. That one little word, love, changes everything. Money was never the bad guy. Your heart is on trial. A $100 bill can feed a hungry family or pay for something horrible. The paper is to blame. The question is what it is doing to you. And this is where most people have it completely ass backwards. Less, they think, is the aim. But the Bible never commends being broke for being broke's sake. Some of the most faithful people in all of the Bible were rich. Abraham, Job, Lydia. God gave them a lot of trust. So if money itself isn't the trouble, what is? And hey, if this is moving something for you already, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps to get this out to someone who needs to hear it tonight. Now I will reveal to you the true danger. The real threat is not your purse, it is your worship. In Matthew 6:24, Jesus said it very clearly. No man can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and mammon. Notice, he didn't say money is a master to be avoided. He said it is already trying to master you every single day. The great servant is money, but it makes a God a cruel God. And the second it leaves your hand down to your throne, it stops working for you and begins owning you. So how do you know which it is? How do you know whether money is your servant or your secret God? Jesus gave us a test, and it's uncomfortable because it is so simple there is nowhere to hide. He said in Matthew 6:21, For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Read it again. Your heart doesn't follow your money. Your money shows your heart. Wherever it runs quiet, that's what you really love. So the 10-second test is this. Don't tell me what you value. Show me your bank statement and your calendar, and I will tell you what you value. Your treasure is where your money goes when nobody's looking. This is not about shaming you. It is meant to free you, because now, perhaps for the first time, you can see clearly. Having money does not make you a bad person, but money can be leading your heart to a place you never meant to go. Now, underneath all of this is a fear that nobody wants to talk about. That's the real reason people grip so tightly in the first place. And it's not avarice, it's horror. The fear of not having enough. Maths at 3 a.m. What if I get laid off? What if it all burns away? And knowing that fear was coming, God gave us one of the most tender promises in all Scripture. Let me read that for you. Hebrews 13:5. Keep your lives free from the love of money, and be content with what you have, because God has said, Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. See what he did there? He linked your release from the money god to a promise of his presence. He's saying, you can let go because I am not going anywhere. You don't have to be ruled by money because you're already held by someone who will never let go. And that changes the purpose of money. Because if he's your security, then money is finally demoted back to what it was always meant to be. Just a tool. Quick question, and I really want you to answer this one. What's the one money worry you've been carrying that you just can't seem to put down? One word will do. Drop it in the comments below. And sometimes when you say it out loud, it's the first time it starts to lose its grip. And you never know who is scrolling by and needs to see that they are not alone. Now, here's the bit that will most surprise people. The Bible doesn't merely say, don't love money. It turns the whole thing on its head and gives money a purpose that's almost thrilling. And Paul continues on in 1 Timothy 6, verses 17 and 18. He tells the wealthy to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Read that slowly. God gives you good things for your enjoyment. That's not the talk of a God who wants you miserable and broke, but it's the next line that flips it. Be rich in good deeds and generous and willing to share, Paul says. Well, there it is. Poverty has never been the cure for a love of money. It's being generous. Having none doesn't diminish the power of money. You open your hands and let it flow through you to somebody else, and you shatter it. The snare is the tight fist. The open hand is freedom. And Scripture makes a nearly outrageous promise about that open hand. Proverbs 11:25. He who is generous will prosper, and he who waters will himself be watered. Think about how that sounds backwards. The world is shouting, grab, hoard, protect. God says, give, release, refresh. And somehow, you become the one who is full. It's like he made money to work like a river. Blocked up, it becomes stagnant and stale. But as it flows, it brings life wherever it goes, all the way back to you. So let's go back to the beginning. Back to that line you've heard your whole life. Money is the root of all evil. Now you know, it doesn't say that. And that missing word was not a technicality. That was the whole point. It wasn't ever about the money in your bank account. It was always the love that you had in your heart. Nobody never asked you to be poor. You were told to be free. Free to hold money loosely, to give freely, to trust the one who promised he will never leave your side. So the next time old guilt whispers that wanting to provide makes you greedy, you can answer it with the truth. Money is a gift, a tool, and a servant. It is not a master until you give it the throne. And that throne? It has already been given to someone else. If this brought you some peace tonight, some freedom from the burden you've been carrying, feel free to subscribe. No, not for me, but so the next word you need comes to you when you need it. And if you're still wondering about this, watch the video coming up next on your screen. There is one more thing Jesus said about worry and provision that goes hand in hand with this perfectly, and it may be the very thing you came here looking for.